So here we are once again, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. I'm Mobile Geezer, which you know if you're on my YouTube channel, but you might be watching from Facebook or from X. So we simulcast on all of those at the same time, so you can watch on Facebook at Mobile Geezer or on George Hayes. And of course on X, it's at Mobile Geezer. We do this every week at this time, and we go over some of the articles that I found that I thought might be interesting to you guys from last Friday to this Friday, so within the last week. And if there's any major news, I try to get that story in for you too. So Eleanor was the first one here. She was here a while ago, and Annette just popped in. Hi, Annette. Glad to have you here. So we've got Eleanor and Annette, two of our favorite people and our most faithful people. Pardon me. So if you're new here, please type something in the comments. Say hello. Let us know you're here. And if you're interested in mobile tech or in tech in general, I might have an article for you. But every week, I put this stuff on the show notes on my webpage, so let me show you that. Go and share screen. So if you go to, wait a minute, let me put this down here a little bit. Okay. If you go to my webpage at mobilegeezer.wordpress.com and you just click on today's date, you'll get the show notes just for tonight's show. So, as I do every week when I'm here, I'll give you a little preview of what we're going to talk about tonight. As far as I know, there was no huge announcements this week, but there were a couple of impactful stories. So, I'm going to go over that. First, we'll start with Android users can now have their app data deleted. So you want a little more control over your data, and you can have the developers delete your data by request. And Google just gave that to us a couple of days ago. And I guess the developers have to delete when asked. So I think that's a good thing. So that'll be our first story. Now, a second one, and usually I try to save what I think might be the major story for second, just to give people time to come in. So this, I think, was a kind of a big deal. I said T-Mobile continues takeovers. Latest target, U.S. Cellular. So T-Mobile is about to take over U.S. Cellular, so we'll talk about that. And it's like Sprint took a while to go through and Mint Mobile took a while to go through. They're expecting this to be completed sometime next year, but another big deal. So after that, I usually save the breaches for when I give you individual videos, but Ticketmaster had a big data breach. I said Ticketmaster's huge data breach. I found that on Tom's Guide. So that's a big one. We'll talk about that. After that, interestingly, I've been feeling somewhat guilty for the last, I don't know, 6 months to a year, in that I've been giving you stories about artificial intelligence, and I've tried to keep you up with it. But I hardly ever use really hardly ever use it. Well, it turns out almost nobody is using it. And I found a story on Tech Radar. I said, with all the hype we've all given AI, nobody cares. And we'll get into that. And then upcoming Pixel sales in the U.S. not looking good. Yeah, Pixel sales, remember last year, maybe a year ago, maybe even 6 months ago, we were all talking about how Pixel sales were getting better and things were looking better for the Pixel. Well, now it's kind of going, it's actually going the other way. So we'll have a story about that from Phone Arena. And then another one that got hacked this week was the Internet Archive. You might know it as archive.org. attacked over Memorial Day weekend. I think they might still be impacted by it. So we'll talk about that. And then, of course, YouTube gave us a bunch of free games this week. I saw them even before I saw this article about 4 days ago. I was scrolling down my YouTube, and all of a sudden there was this game area. And I'm like, these look like cheap games. Well, I just said, are YouTube's new free games worth playing? In a word, no. That's what Tech Radar says. So we'll talk about that. So that's all the stories that I'm going to go over this week. I hope you guys find it interesting. So I haven't spoken to Ted, but I know we're in what he considers photography season. So he, his side business is his photography. So he might be out taking pictures, and he lives in Dallas. So he's probably still got plenty of sunshine left. So, but if he comes in, I'll let you guys know. And of course, if by some miracle Will comes in, I'll let you guys know too. Mostly it's been just me here lately, so it's probably going to be a somewhat of a short show. But we've been going to about 9 o'clock, so about an hour, I'd say. So we'll see how it goes. So back to our first story. Android users can now have their app data deleted, and I just thought this was something that everybody should know. So go over to Android Central. Android users don't have to worry about data being stored by Google Play apps. And this was, I don't know if I can say his name properly, Vishnu Sarangapurkar, something like that. Sorry if I butchered it really badly. Google Play Store found rolling out the new data deletion pane for app users. So this is something to give us a little more control over our own data. This is good. I'm going to drop it into Read View, and we'll go over this one. And this was from 2 days ago. Google Play Store is finally allowing users to easily delete their account data from Android apps. The feature that was introduced to developers by Google last April seems to be rolling out to everyone starting this week, so I think we should all have access to it by now. The new rule, first proposed by Google, targeting apps that usually allow account creation for users, will now also allow them to delete accounts permanently, which is good. According to contributor Assemble Debug through Android Authority, Google Play Store is showcasing the new Account Deletion Available badge for Android phone users under the Data Safety section for relevant apps. And there's one here. I can't get this too much bigger, but there's a better one coming up. So we'll take a look at another image. Clicking the badge would take users to the data deletion pane, which includes options like delete app account and manage app data. So you can either delete the whole account or have the developer do it, or you can just delete pieces of it. So we're going to get into that. The former allows users to submit a request to app developers to delete their account data and other associated information that users have given while clicking the account. Uh-oh, we got a little miracle going here. Wait a minute. Well, we did have, Ted is there somewhere. I saw his face for a split second. I'll go back to the story, but hopefully he'll join us in a minute. So I'll let you know. Okay, the delete app account section further provides the relevant developer's site link. Upon clicking, it will showcase instructions for users on how to delete their account. So I guess each developer, once you get into his app or her app, will have different ways for you to delete stuff. So while the Manage App Data account, with the Manage App Data, account holders can request the developer delete only specific data collected by the app, not the entire account. So that's good. This data can include activity history, transaction history, and images and video. So here's how you can do it. Either the whole thing, and this gives you a pretty good idea. Account deletion available. You can request your data to be deleted, or you can go to the developer's site And I believe this is where you can have specific pieces of data. So I thought it was good that they put that image in there and let us see that. So the new findings appear on track as promised during the proposal with an early 2024 timeframe, which is when they were promised. Google mandated that app developers provide straightforward methods for account deletions online or via the app's web version. The new ability is especially important so that a user can request account and data deletion without having to reinstall an app. That's good. Noted Bethel Otutai, I think, Senior Director of Project Management, Android App Safety in the blog post. I don't usually have this many complicated names, but today I'm having a tough time. When Google initiated this policy, it also gave developers a deadline of May 31st, so that's today, to include the easy app account deletion option for their apps. So hopefully all the developers are ready with that today. As the extension is only a couple of days away, this was a couple of days ago, Google Play Store is bringing the new changes sounds achievable. So I just thought that was a good story. Give us all a little more control over our own data. And let me stop screen for a second. Here's Alta Tech. Hey, Rishi, glad to see you here, brother. And he's saying, I wonder if developers would just start saving this info before we can delete. That's the trouble. None of us trust these people. But I think it's a step in the right direction. Rishi says, I still don't trust any company when it comes to privacy. I don't think any of us do, and I think we're right not to trust them. Data is worth too much money. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday to you too, Richie. Glad to have you. It's been a while since we've seen you, and I've seen you've been a little more active online lately, so I'm glad to see that. I've been seeing some of your great pictures that you always take, especially from the S23 Ultra, which I know you love, and so do I. That's why I still have mine, or I had gotten rid of it and bought it back again. So Ted is hanging on. Ted is in the stream, I think, but he's not sure. Okay, there he is. You are. You sneaky guy, you.
So I was just waiting for the right moment to pop in like Double Dutch. How you been?
It's good to see you, brother. Been a while. I'm sure you must have been taking pictures like crazy for the past couple of months. Am I right?
For the past month, this month, happy photography month.
Okay. Oh, so this was officially photography month?
Yeah, May is the official photography.
I did not know that. You're teaching me all kinds of stuff. All right. So you've made some money. You've gotten some work this month?
No, most of it's been pro bono.
Okay, but you did say most of it, so you must have gotten something. Anything is better than nothing, I think.
Yeah, anything is better than nothing. True.
Okay. he said very skeptically.
After some point, though, the amount of money is worth, not getting out of bed. Not getting out of bed.
Hey, we all keep pushing. Hey, I make a little bit of money doing this stuff with Google on my channel. I don't make much, but it takes time and it's slowly getting there. So, it's a process.
After a while, the fisherman doesn't get up for the small fish anymore.
I have faith that you'll build it up. Just takes time. That's all.
But, I actually had free time and I was actually able to work from home today. So I was like, oh, I'm ready for set up to join the live stream.
Very good. Well, we're very, very glad you're here. And since I've only done one story, now you came in and the next story is what I think is the big story for this week, which is T-Mobile US Cellular takeover. You want to take that one?
Yeah, happily sure do. My former network provider.
I just said T-Mobile continues takeovers, latest target, US Cellular. This is on Phone Arena. I'm clicking on it now. And this came out 3 days ago, published May 20th. All right, so I'm going to let Ted take over. I'm going to drop it into read of you whenever you're ready, sir.
Yes. Oh, uh, we're gonna show it on the.
Oh, sorry. You know, you- I'm not used to having you in here anymore. You got me all excited. I forgot what I was doing. There we go. Okay, now we're ready.
So T-Mobile continues acquisition. What else did they buy? Acquisition spree.
Well, they just bought Mint. Remember, what last month they
Oh
finished
right,
that
yeah, I
deal?
forgot about that one.
Yeah, that
With
just went through. Yeah.
4.4 billion US cellular mega deal. Widely viewed as a wireless industry underdog just a few years ago, T-Mobile transformed itself into a market leader and trendsetter incredibly quickly with a series of uncarrier moves and marketing stunts, and perhaps more importantly, a 2020 merger with Sprint that allowed the 4G LTE laggard to become a 5G pioneer and champion, while unfortunately also giving the Magenta the confidence, read arrogance, to make a
Yeah.
number of highly controversial pricing changes without worrying too much that the dwindling competition could eat away at its subscriber figures.
And Eleanor was one of those that was pissed off at that hers just got raised. Mine didn't, but hers did. So yeah, they picked a really bad time to do this to people, but they did it. Go ahead.
Or the good time to do it. When everybody else raises their prices, that's a good time to hide your price increase as well.
Well, they didn't hide this one very well because everybody got upset. I found out about it from Eleanor before I even had any stories about it last week. So,
Let's see. So the includes a portfolio with millions of customers around the nation and unnamed number of stores, as well as certified specified spectrum masters, which could help T-Mobile improve an already towering 5G network even further. Mm,
yeah, they are number one in 5G. So
hmm.
mainly because of the Sprint merger.
Let's see. If you're a US cellular user, T-Mobile claims your network experience will get massively better soon, which is probably true. In terms of value, however, the young carrier's lofty promises don't exactly come at the most opportune time, with many of its longtime subscribers being hit by a predictable but still incredibly painful and frustrating price hike just last week. Of course, US Cellular. Ooh, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. People getting wild in your neighborhood.
Will be able to choose between retaining their current plans and switching to an unlimited T-Mobile option at no cost. But if history is any indication, that choice might be restricted with time, and the non-existent cons could well appear down the line. So when will all the changes happen? The short and perhaps most accurate answer to that question is not particularly soon. That's because all the deals of this sort need to be clear various legal hurdles before receiving the green light from the FCC and a bunch of other government agencies and authorities. I would be very surprised if this goes through. Some of you probably remember how long it took and how difficult it was for T-Mobile to seal the $26 billion Sprint merger several years back. While this acquisition is only estimated to cost 4.4 billion in a combination of cash and debt, that's still a lot of money, and plenty of regulatory scrutiny is likely to follow in the next few months.
So you don't think it's going to go through, huh?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it does.
I was surprised that the Mint Mobile merger went through because of the Sprint thing, but that went through. So it looks like T-Mobile's got somebody's ear. I think, or they're paying off the right people.
Will any U.S. cellular head honchos get this type of love from T-Mobile CEO Mike Servert anytime soon? From comparison, T-Mobile paid Ryan Reynolds and associates less than 1.5 billion for Mint Mobile, Ultra Mobile, and Plum parent company Ciena Corporation a few weeks ago, following an initial agreement announced way back in March 23. That deal was challenged by at least one competing MVNO that argued its completion would cause the industry further harm after Sprint's disappearance led to higher prices for world wireless customers nationwide. Man, that's true.
And
But
it
even
did, yeah.
But even though something tells us similar arguments will be made about the newly announced acquisition, T-Mobile currently expects all necessary closing conditions to be met at some point in mid-2025. The young courier will obviously be unable to do anything with the U.S. cellular spectrum and for U.S. cellular customers until then. So you probably shouldn't expect any changes to your 5G coverage speeds or prices or speeds for at least another year.
So anyway, I'm thinking somehow since they made the Mint Mobile deal go through, I'm thinking they're paying the right people. They got somebody's ear, but they seem to be able to get this stuff done. So, yeah, I was skeptical until the Mint Mobile thing went through. Oh, you're looking up. So what are you looking up?
Actually, no, nothing.
Okay. So anyway, that to me was kind of the big deal of the week. I think the first one I saw a post about it was Mike posted something about it on X 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And that was the first I had seen it. And then I started looking up stories, and that's when I found out. So to me, that was the big one of the week. But the next one is Ticketmaster. And I just said Ticketmaster's huge, and notice I capitalized huge, data breach. This was on Tom's Guide. So let's go on. And this was a big one. Good, I haven't touched Ticketmaster in years. So
I use everything but Ticketmaster. I'm using SeatGeek, Game Time.
Oh,
What's
you are
another
using
one?
the others? Okay. Yeah, there's another one that's bigger than Ticketmaster now, right?
Bigger than Ticketmaster? No.
No. I read something, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks ago that Ticketmaster is number 2 now, not number 1. But I can't remember. I had never heard of it. But I remember in the story, Ticketmaster was number 2. So I don't even know who it is.
SeatGeek, Game Time. What's the other one?
It was a name I had never heard before.
Hey, Google, what's the popular ticket purchasing service?
On the website time.com, they say Ticketmaster is one of the best options when it comes to buying and selling tickets.
What'd she say?
Ticketmaster. What's an alternative to Ticketmaster?
Here's a summary from the website vfares.com.
vFares?
Could be. Yeah, it was a name like that. Yeah, it was a short name.
Eventbrite. Huvo. WebEx. Never mind.
WebEx, I didn't know. Anyway, so I don't use them anymore. So I used to use them a lot, but I don't use them anymore. So it's not going to affect me. All right, let me get to the story. Over 500 million, that's a lot, hit with them in massive Ticketmaster data breach. What to do now? This is by Anthony Spadafora, who's the guy who always lets us know about this stuff on Tom's Guide. Full names, addresses, emails, and more Ticketmaster customer data stolen by hackers. And this was last updated yesterday. So let me drop it into reader view. Okay. Paying exorbitant prices for concert tickets is bad enough, but now it appears that one of the most popular ticketing service providers worldwide has suffered a major data breach that affects over 500 million. That's a lot of customers. As reported by Mashable, Ticketmaster is the latest big company to fall victim to a data breach. Though the firm has yet to confirm this. Yeah, they're keeping their mouth shut about it, which I think is wrong, but they are. Still, a prominent hacker group is claiming to have stolen the customer data of close to 560 million of the service's users. To make matters worse, the group, which goes by Shiny Hunters online, a Pokemon reference for those curious, didn't know that, is selling all 1.3 terabytes of this stolen data for a one-off fee of $500,000 on a popular hacking firm. Wonder if somebody's going to just pay that whole thing. I don't know. If you're a Ticketmaster customer whose personal and maybe even financial data has been exposed as a result of these hackers, and that's what we don't know because they're not telling us. Here's everything you need to know about this breach, along with some tips on how to stay safe after a major cyber incident like this one. A treasure trove of user data. According to Shiny Hunters, the group managed to steal all sorts of data from Ticketmaster, but we still don't know how they managed to pull off this feat. Yeah, I think Ticketmasters should be made to tell us what's going on here. Regardless, the 1.3 terabytes of stolen customer data contains full names, addresses, phone numbers, along with order history information like ticket purchase details and Ticketmaster event information. If this wasn't bad enough, Shiny Hunters was also allegedly able to steal partial payment data from Ticketmaster customers, which includes their names, last four digits, thank God it wasn't more than that, and expiration dates of their credit cards. In addition to looking for more information on Ticketmaster's blog and other online resources, Tom's Guide has also reached out to the company directly to confirm what, if any, data was stolen by the Shiny Hackers group. So all the information that they have in the story is coming from the group that stole it, but Ticketmaster isn't saying anything. I should think the government should make them say something. While we've yet to hear back from Ticketmaster, Shiny Hunters does have a history of big data breaches like this one. For instance, back in 2021, the hacker group leaked the subscriber info of 70 million of AT&T customers. Surprisingly, Shiny Hunters' leader is the admin of the popular hacker forum, Breach Forums. So yeah, these guys are all connected, I think. How to stay safe after a data breach. This is going to be some of the same stuff that I give you whenever I tell you about any of these breaches, but couldn't hurt to say it again. Even if you're super careful online and practice perfect cyber hygiene, your personal and financial data could still end up in the hands of hackers thanks to one of the companies you do business with. Whether it's an unsecured database, an insider threat, or even a malware infection, your data can then be stolen and sold off to other hackers to use in their other attacks. Normally, when a company falls victim to a data breach, they usually offer some guidance along with free access to one of the best identity theft protection services. As Ticketmaster has yet to confirm whether it actually was hacked, we don't know if the company will be providing complimentary services to affected customers, but one would hope. Until then, you're going to need to remain vigilant when checking your inbox, messages, or even your mailbox, as cyber criminals could use the information exposed in this breach to launch targeted phishing attacks. Likewise, you're going to want to be using the best antivirus software on your PC, the best Mac antivirus software on your Apple computer, and the best Android antivirus apps on your smartphone, just in case any of these phishing messages contain dangerous malware. With your full name, addresses, and email in hand, they could impersonate other popular companies to trick you into giving up your passwords or even handing over your hard-earned cash. This is why you need to be very wary of messages from unknown senders. Don't click on the links or download any attachments they contain, and you also want to inspect the sender's email addresses to make sure a message is legitimate and not just another scam. And that's true because often when they're sending emails, they're going to misspell something and you can catch it that way. We'll have to wait and see what Ticketmaster says about this incident, but we'll update the story if and when we hear back from the company in itself. I hope we hear something soon. Anyway. Oh, and Eleanor's talking to you, Ted. She said, "Thank you for asking Google because she just answered in my kitchen." LOL.
Did your Google give you a different answer?
Was your answer different, Eleanor? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't get it here because I'm using my earbuds, so it didn't hear it, which is good for me. All right, let me get out this story. And yeah, Eleanor had the only comment there. Eleanor, let us know if it said something different than what it told Ted as far as which company is the biggest for getting tickets. Anyway, I'm sliding down. This story I thought was interesting simply because I've been feeling guilty about I put out all these AI stories and I almost never use it. Well, I guess almost nobody ever uses it because that's what this story is about. Ted, you want to take it?
Yep.
All right. With all the hype we've all given AI and nobody cares. This is on Tech Radar. So let me put it in read review, and this was from 2 days ago. Okay, it's in read review whenever you're ready, sir.
Let's see.
Eleanor said it said the same as yours. So
okay. Hardly any of us are using AI tools like ChatGPT study says. Here's why. Yeah, I would say that is true. I haven't used it for a few months actually.
Yeah, I was surprised. Everybody's as slow to use it as I am. It looks like.
If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or left behind by ChatGPT and other AI tools, fear not. A new big international study has found that most of us aren't using generative AI tools on a regular basis. The study from Reuters Institute and Oxford University, which surveyed over 12,000 people across 6 countries, seemingly reveals how little the AI hype has percolated down to real world use for now. Even among the people who have said generative AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini or Microsoft Copilot, a large portion said they've only used them once or twice. Only a small, tiny minority, 7% in the US and 2% in the UK, said they use the most well known AI tool, ChatGPT, on a daily basis. A significant portion of respondents in all countries, including 47% in the US and 42% in the UK, hadn't even heard of ChatGPT.
That surprised me.
A figure that was much higher for other AI apps. But after ChatGPT, the most recognized tools were Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, Snapchat My AI, Meta
I,
AI, Bing AI. I keep saying AI, and
yeah,
UChat. That's the
I had never heard of Snapchats or Bing AI and UChat. Now this chart is kind of interesting. Go ahead when you're ready. Oh, he's looking up something.
Trailing further behind those terms of recognition were generative AI imagery tools like Midjourney, plus Claude, and the XAI Grok for X, formerly Twitter. But while the regular use of generative AI tools is low, the survey does provide some interesting insights on what the early dabblers are using them for.
Yeah, and I thought this was good.
For getting information, that's overall 24%, and for creating media, that's 28%. And getting in the latest news, that's only 5%. Playing around or experimenting is 11%, highest majority. Writing an email and letter, that's usually what I've been using it for when I use it. And job application, another popular reason why I use it for. Making a video or audio, I don't get to use those for free.
Yeah, I don't either.
Seeking support, summarizing text, 8%. Data analysis, 5%. This table from the survey shows the answers to the question you said you have used a generative AI chatbot or tool. Which, if any of the following, have you tried to use for, even if it didn't work? Scroll up a bit. Scroll down a bit.
Okay.
Broadly speaking, the use cases will put into two categories: creating media or researching questions. Hey, let me go into that one. Oh, too late. Tiny. All surveys have limitation. But while average AI tools are arguably better for brainstorming and summarizing, and these were the most popular use cases in the survey, with generating ideas mentioned by 9% of respondents and summarizing text cited by 8% of people. The top two S's in getting information category were answering factual questions, 11%, and asking advice, 10%, both of which were hopefully followed by some corroboration from other sources. Most AI chatbots still come with prominent warnings about their propensity for making mistakes. For example, Google says Gemini could provide inaccurate information or could even make offensive statements.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's why when it says worryingly given the issue of AI hallucinations, if anybody who doesn't know, that just means they make a lot of mistakes and come back with wrong information often. So go ahead.
But while the average is still seemingly damning the stage with generative AI tools, most people in the survey are convinced that the tools will ultimately have big impact on our daily lives. When asked if they thought that generative AI will have a large impact on ordinary people in the next 5 years, 60% of 24-year-olds 18 to 24 thought it would, while the figure only dropping to 41% amongst those who are 55 and older.
And see, even though I'm 79, I fall into the 60%, but I'm a tech nerd and I know it. So yeah, I think a lot of people will be using it in the next 5 years. I'm surprised looking at this chart that Denmark topped it as far as use. Now, the 8%, only 8% daily, and America had 11% people using it daily. But still, I'm surprised Denmark came up number one over the USA as far as usage.
All right. Going back to the rest of the article. Why? Oh, let's see. Still, its broad sample size and geographic breadth does give us an interesting snapshot of how the average person views and uses the likes of ChatGPT. The answer is that it remains very niche among consumers, with the report's lead author, Dr. Richard Fletcher, suggesting to the BBC that it shows that there's a mismatch between the hype around AI and the public interest in it. Bars.
That's true.
Why there? Why might that be the case? The reality is that most AI tools, including ChatGPT, haven't yet convinced us that they're frictionless or reliable enough to become a default part of our tech lives. This is why the focus on OpenAI's new ChatGPT 4.0 model, branding being another issue, was a new lifelike voice assistant, which was designed to help lure us into more using it more regularly. Still, while even the tech enthusiasts still have reservations about AI tool, this appears to have largely been irrelevant to tech giants. We're now seeing generative AI being baked into consumer products on a daily basis, from Google Search's new AI summaries to Microsoft Copilot coming to messaging apps to iOS 18's rumored AI features for iPhones. This reminds me of something.
Go ahead.
Let me finish the story first. So while the survey's respondents were generally optimistic about the use of generative AI in science and healthcare, but more worry about it being used in news and journalism, and worried about the effects it might have on job security, according to Dr. Fletcher, it seems that AI tech is going to be a daily part of our lives regardless, just not quite yet.
Exactly.
It sort of reminds me of the push we had like years ago for cameras, 360 cameras.
Right. Yeah, that came and went though.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, boy, I don't know what's up with my computer.
And like they're saying, there was a big difference between the hype and the reality, because I think, a lot of the AI stuff has been hype. Okay, I guess we'll get Ted back in a minute. But a lot of the AI stuff has been a lot of hype. And I've seen a number of videos from people who know more about it than I do, talking about how a lot of the AI stuff is strictly hype. Keep in mind, these are people that want to make money, like OpenAI, for instance. But for myself, I know I haven't hardly used it, but because it's there's AI in Copilot now, which is part of Windows, and Google's Gemini, I find that I'm using it a little bit because Gemini or Microsoft's Copilot, they're kind of pushing it at me. And often now, when I ask Google something, or even Copilot, it'll give me answers if I use my voice, and it comes back with the AI as the first answer, and then there are others answers. But I noticed the AI stuff is the first one that comes back, and I have kind of gotten used to looking at the AI answer since it's at the top anyway, and it seems to do an okay job in answering most questions that I've asked. And of course, I just ask simple stuff, but so I was just kind of pleased that I'm not the only one who's ignoring it as much as I am. Seems like most people are. So Ted, sounds like you might have used it a little more than me.
Yeah, I was using it heavy when I was trying to apply for like job hunting one time.
Oh,
Using
okay.
it constantly for covering letters, writing
Okay.
some snippets, replying to emails. Yeah, well, I use it a lot for the job hunting process.
Okay.
But
And people seem to be using it a lot for summaries, because it seems to be getting better and better at that kind of stuff too.
What was it? But earlier I was talking about 360 cameras. Like there was a big push towards it.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
Everyone was making it something for it. From the Essential phone, the 360
Right.
camera. Google made it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And now it's pretty much like a dead thing. Like, it's now used very, very nichely. Like, people who just reviewing bicycles or something like that. It's not
exactly. But I think a lot of it outside of the few phones like the Essential that had it built in, I think the 360 cameras themselves, I think they were a bit overpriced and people just didn't want to spend the money.
Yeah, but yeah, that reminds me of like that this sort of push now.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be going for it because they're all banking that it's going to be a big thing in the future for all of us. But
Yeah, but I think people like what's his name, Sam Altman, of OpenAI, they're pushing it because they're trying to make money. So yeah, they're hyping it up every chance they get. But I see a lot of videos from knowledgeable people saying don't buy into the hype because AI is not as overall as people as they want you to believe it is. So
yeah, no,
and I
because it
think
sucks. It sucks. And I'm just talking about the ones, not ChatGPTs, but the ones that are using it to plug into their products. That's
yeah, I agree.
Google and Microsoft.
Yeah.
Copilot and Gemini are not doing anything. If anything, they're making it worse. Like
Yeah.
Gemini is actively making Google search worse, which I didn't think it was possible, but it's
But and I have, like I said, I've used it for simple stuff. Maybe that's why my answers have come back okay. But I've seen a number of articles that are saying exactly what you're saying. That are saying it just comes back with terrible results. So it's just interesting. Asia Johnson said, "Go Ted."
Hey, good, thank you.
Okay, so moving on. Let me get the screen back up again. Share screen once more to the next story, and that is the Pixel sales in the U.S. I said U.S. upcoming Pixel sales in the U.S. not looking good. I was surprised to see this because remember a year ago, 6 months ago, we were all saying how Pixel seemed to have picked up and Google's doing better with Pixel. Well, after reading this story, not so good. So I'm going to pull it up on Phone Arena. It's my turn, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll make sure. Okay, and this is from 4 days ago. Pixel market share is hanging by a thread in the U.S. survey reveals. This was by Anam Hamid, who does a lot of their stories for Phone Arena. So I'm going to drop this into Reader View, and this story really kind of shocked me because I thought Pixel was doing okay, but I gather not. Google may have kickstarted the trend of AI phones in the industry, but the latest figures from the number crunching wizards at Counterpoint Research, and they're a very reputable group, suggest its market share is on the decline. On top of that, most existing Pixel owners will probably go for another brand the next time they buy a phone. That's the most disheartening news for Google. Analytics company Stocklytics has published a report that reveals the findings of a survey of 10,000 U.S. smartphone users conducted by Statista Consumer Insights. The survey aims to find how loyal smartphone users are to their current brand. And I think 10,000 is a good enough summary. Per the report, a whopping 57% of Google Pixel owners in the U.S. want to switch to another brand, and you'll see that when we get down here. That's pretty alarming, considering the U.S. is one of Google's top 2 markets. That's true. And they asked, how likely are you to change your smartphone brand on the next possible occasion? And you can see Apple people, at least half, sticking with what they've got. Only 34% say they might switch. Samsung, almost half, 44%, stuck with Samsung. Again, 34% maybe. And look at Google. Only 25% stuck, planning to stick with their Pixel, and 57% they're probably going to say bye, bub. You'll see that down here too. In contrast, only 34% of both Apple and Samsung's users will consider ditching these companies for another brand when the time comes for an upgrade. Only 25% of Pixel users were sure they would stay with the brand for their next smartphone purchase as well. While in many ways the Pixels are the best phones around, well, only as far as photography, I think. Recurrent problems like connectivity woes and overheating issues are too much for some people, and this might be the reason why a good many of the current owners are considering moving to another brand. Yeah, every time Pixel releases a phone, they seem to have different problems, except for with the 8A. With the 8A, I'm not having any issues, and I haven't heard of any. Apple's fans were found to be the most loyal of the lot, with 50% of them considering staying with the company for their next phone as well. Samsung is not far behind with 44% loyal users. There were over 310 million smartphone users in the U.S. at the end of 2023. So 10,000 is admittedly not too big of a sample to be representative of the whole market. I think it's enough, though. In absolute terms, though, the figure is not insignificant, and Google may want to focus more on providing a consistent and reliable experience if it hopes to beat Apple and Samsung one day. I don't think they're dumb enough to hope to beat Apple and Samsung. That's just my guess, because there's no chance of that happening, probably ever, is my guess. But still, a very disheartening survey, if you ask me, because I thought they were doing better than that. So very interesting. All right, nothing new in the comments. So I'm going to
Unfortunate. Just unfortunate.
I'm going to slide on down. But I have to say, ever since I got my Pixel 8A, and it's only been 2 weeks, but I am very, very happy. I have it right here. As a matter of fact, it was one of the 2 phones I took to work with me today. I took my Pixel 8A and my iPhone 15 Pro Max. So I'm very happy with it so far. And from some of the articles I've seen and some of the videos, it seems like most people are happy with it. So I think that's a good thing. Okay, next story is about the Internet Archive that got attacked, and that nobody's hacking into them. They're just shutting them down. So I just said Internet Archive, you might know it as archive.org, attacked over Memorial Day weekend. Many unable to access the site. And I found this on PC Mag. You want to take it, Ted?
Yes, makes you wonder what's somebody hiding that they will take down an entire site.
And they've been doing this. I don't think it stopped completely for the whole week. That's my impression anyway. All right, I'm going to drop this into, and this is from 3 days ago. So I'm going to drop it into reader view. Okay.
Internet Archive is reportedly facing ongoing distributed denial of service attacks. The attacks began over Memorial Day long weekend, according to the California-based nonprofit, and several users who said they were unable to access digital archive site for several hours on Monday. Archive.org is under a DDoS attack, the nonprofit's X account wrote Monday morning. The data is not affected, but most services are unavailable. A few hours later, the nonprofit added that there was some back and forth with the attackers. The organization had made some changes to its service, but has not yet shared further details on the identity of the attackers or any possible reason for the attack. PC Mag has reached out to the Internet Archive for comment. After the Internet Archive shared that its services were back up and running Monday afternoon, multiple X users claimed the site still wasn't working for them. On Tuesday morning, the nonprofit confirmed that the DDoS attacks had resumed. The archive site has also reported network traffic issues on Sunday. Internet Archive founder and board chair Brewster Kelly said the issues on Sunday could have been due to an over-aggressive crawling group or a DDoS attack, that the site tends to face more technical issues on weekends. While other digital archive sites exist, many of the domain stations based outside of the U.S. Internet Archive was founded in San Francisco, California in 1996. Cali was advocated for universal access to all knowledge via books, websites, and other types of media for decades. In addition to cyber attacks, the archival group has also faced a number of lawsuits in recent years. Major U.S. book publishers sued the nonprofit in 2020 over the Internet Archive's digital book lending program, alleging copyright infringement. Last year, a judge ruled that the program violated the publisher's copyrights. The nonprofit has continued to argue that the controlled digital lending constitutes fair use, however.
I agree with the judge. I think if they're actually lending out the entire books, yeah, you're infringing on the publisher's rights. I remember, this suit from some of these publishers has been going on for years, like you said, from 2020. I can remember, I've seen a number of stories about that, and I think the publishers have a right to be upset. But why this other group would want to just cut off service to them, I have not. I think it's just being malicious.
Is it? I mean, let's say you owned a physical copy of the book and you just had the book outside in a public, in your public bookshelf library for anyone to just come and take it, read, and put it back. What's the difference?
The difference, libraries pay publishers for their books.
Well,
These people-
I'm not saying like an official library. I'm saying like your own personal, like, neighborhood library. Like, like, I don't know if you've ever seen it where people have like,
yeah, but if I'm using it in my personal library, how many other people is going to read my book? 2, 3, 4? Here
I
it's
mean,
going to be
it's open to the
hundreds of
public.
thousands. Here
It's
it's
open
going
to
to be
the public.
hundreds of thousands. You're cheating the publishers out of their money, in my opinion.
It's open to the public, so any amount of people can come and read it. And
yeah, but not any amount of people are going to come read my personal book, but hundreds of thousands of people are going to come read the book from here. So I agree with the judge, and I think you're definitely stealing out of their pocket. That's just my opinion. So anyway, yeah, but I don't know why anybody would maliciously want, but it sounds like the tax haven't even stopped. They're still being affected, or at least I haven't seen anything to say that it's completely stopped. Because it seems like they thought it had stopped by Monday, but then no, Tuesday they said, no, it's still going on. So my guess is it's probably still going on.
my guess, Hillary's trying to hide her emails again.
Anyway, I just think that's pretty vicious. All right, I got one more story. And are YouTube's new free games worth playing? In a word, no. That's what I said. Now, wait a minute. Rishi is asking, which phones are you got? Oh, currently, today I have the iPhone 15 Pro Max with me. That's what I took to work. And I took my Pixel 8a. But I've been, during the week, I flipped between these two phones, my OnePlus 12, my OnePlus Open, that's my one big folding phone, and my Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Those are like the 5 phones I keep going back and forth with, and every day I exchange them. And it's all based on whatever watch. Now, today was my Apple Watch, so that's why I took my iPhone today, and my backup phone was my Pixel 8a. But I always base it on the watch. I have 4 watches that I go with all week, and the primary phone is based on whichever watch I have. So it's either going to be the Galaxy Watch 5 Classic, or the Apple Watch, or the initial Pixel Watch, or my TicWatch Pro 5. And I have that one tied to my OnePlus 12. Oh, and when the article said that the pictures, that the Pixel phones might be the best you can get, and I said, yeah, probably, because of photos. Me and a few other people have found that sometimes the OnePlus 12 takes better pictures than some of the Pixel phones. And I wasn't just comparing it to, I was trying to against Pixel 7, and then I have against the Pixel 8a. I've looked at a little, but I haven't put any video up. But there was another guy that went out and did a very detailed comparison between the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the Ultra Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra and the OnePlus 12. Most of the time, both day and night, the OnePlus 12 won that, in his opinion, and I agreed with what he said. So Ted disappeared on us again. All right, on to my last story. A YouTuber's new free games worth playing. In a word, no. So let's head over to Tech Radar. And I said, YouTube's mindless free games are now available to everyone. Here's how to play them. And I saw, like I said, it popped up on my YouTube maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and I looked at the games and I'm like, I don't think I want to play any of these. Well, this guy's going to back that up. YouTube's mindless free games are now available to everyone. Here's how to play them, by Hamish Hector, published 2 days ago. Why not just watch a great YouTube video instead? He really was not happy with these games. So I'm going to read a view. Is this you, Ted, or is this me? I lost track.
The last story was the internet, the DDoS attack. So that's you.
Okay, this is me. Okay. Over the past few months, a select group of people have been able to play games on YouTube, and now the feature has rolled out to everyone. Yeah, because I saw it as soon as it popped up, and I didn't even know it was rolling out. But take it from me, they're not worth your time. Called Playables, YouTube has rolled out 75 titles per its blog post announcement, all of which can be played for free in the mobile app or on your desktop. Plus, when you quit out of them, if you ever decide to return, your progress will have been saved. That's good, I think. So you can pick up where you left off. Yeah, that's very good. I've been trying some of the playables for research and definitely not as a way to avoid work, but found none were that fun. They're mindless ways to burn through 10 minutes or so if you're desperately bored. But if you're on YouTube, there are literally millions of more entertaining ways to spend your time on the social media platform, like my recent obsession, Jet Lag the Game, or watching the Tech Radar podcast. Why would he say that? Admittedly, Cut the Rope is a charming trip down memory lane with a classic smartphone app, but many other games are those mindless puzzle games you see in TikToks or YouTube shorts. After a minute, they lose all appeal. It's certainly nothing close to matching the quality of the Netflix games catalog, though I guess you are paying for those titles as part of a subscription, so you should expect them to be higher quality. That's true. Here's how you can find YouTube's game. Yeah, I don't see that they're worth finding, but at least you're getting the information. If you're still interested in finding YouTube's new games, here's how. On the desktop, head to the YouTube homepage and scroll through the menu on the left side of the screen until you find the Explore section. At the bottom of this submenu, you should see Playables. Click on it, and you'll have found the games you seek. And I did that the other day just to make sure. And yes, that's exactly how he describes it. On the mobile app, you'll also hit the compass signal in the top right corner on the homepage. From here, tap on Playables at the bottom of the menu and you'll find them. And this, you may want to know this, on either platform, you'll first load into the home menu, which shows you a few games, but clicking Browse will show you everything YouTube has to offer. So anybody who wants to try these, I guess not so great games, they're there for you, folks. If you want to
Oh,
try,
I see it now. Playables. Okay.
yes, you did good. Yeah, I went and did exactly what it said just to make sure I could get to it on the computer the other day. So you just did the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So that's the show for tonight, folks, and I'm so happy Ted was here.
Hey, good to be here.
Oh,
It's been a while.
didn't get to ask you, are you keeping both cameras or what's the deal?
I'm keeping both of them for now.
What did I say? Didn't I say this 2-3 months ago that I bet you'd keep both? And you kept saying probably not.
But it's still, the jury's still out on this guy. I'm using
Okay,
it.
but you from the beginning, once you had both cameras, you seemed to love enough about both of them that I had the feeling you were going to keep both. And you did say they're different enough that they give you different pluses, right?
Yeah, they get added versatility, but I don't say I haven't actually, to be honest, I barely used this one that I'm using now, the big boy ones, the big ones.
Okay.
So
But you still like it.
I haven't used it enough, so I wouldn't
Okay.
say that it's fair to like or dislike, but that
Right,
should
that's
be a
fair.
good big hint though. The fact that I barely used it, I should do the responsible. It's just that listing something for sale is such a slog. So if I could find a way to keep it, that'd be nice. But if I had a buyer right now that just came to my door and said, "Hey, here's money that you paid for it," or even it was like $100 less than what I paid for, I'll give it to them.
Okay.
I would sell it.
Yeah. And the fact that, like you said, the fact that you've hardly used it does seem to say a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll be making some money with at least one of them or both of them soon. That's my best hope for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still light there? Because it's just gotten dark here.
It's just the sun is just starting to set.
Okay, yeah, because you're an hour behind us. Okay, good. All right. Well, I'm very glad you came in, and I hope you do this more often soon, like next week. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'm just being selfish.
Hopefully, I get to work from home, and yeah, this will be an easier occurrence.
Very good. Very good. Rishi, I was so glad you came in. Oh, I was so glad you came in tonight, Rishi. And good to see you there. Good to see that you're posting a bit more online stuff and that you're using your cameras. And of course, you always take great pictures anyway. And of course, he lives directly across the river from Manhattan. So he's always got that great New York skyline from the park. So he can take great pictures day and night. What is that? What do you call it?
A fidget spinner.
Fidget spinner. I hadn't seen one in what, 3 or 4 years. Everybody
Yeah.
had them for a little while.
Yeah, I'm just testing out the motion blur on this.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, testing your camera. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I gotta say, again, the autofocus is always great.
Good. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
getting used to this autofocus is a nice thing.
I remember, was it 4 years ago? For about 2 months, everybody and his brother had a fidget spinner all the time. You remember?
Yeah.
And I almost went out and got one. Then I said, no, this is just going to fade. And it did, you know.
Yeah, now they just give it for free. That's where I got it for my job.
But at least you can actually test your cameras with it. That's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, there's actually abuse besides.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides this noise, pew, like a Beyblade.
Exactly. All right, folks. Glad you all came in. Glad we got to see Ted, and we got to discuss some of the stories together. And we've all gotten an update on his cameras. That's a very good thing. And let's hope he makes money. And hopefully he'll be back with us next week. And I hope all of you have a very blessed and wonderful week. Yeah, cross your fingers. And wonderful weekend. And let's always remember we all do better when we love each other. Good night, folks.
Night.